If you're a man over 50, there is one blood test you should know about. Most men have never heard of it. Most doctors don't bring it up. Most annual checkups don't include it. And yet this single test reveals more about your actual biological age, your hormonal balance, your long-term health trajectory, and your real risk for the diseases of aging than every other test your doctor runs combined. It's not one test. It's a comprehensive panel, a complete picture of what's happening inside your body at a hormonal level. And the moment a man over 50 sees his results from this panel, he understands his own body in a way he never has before. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's in this panel, why each marker matters, why most doctors don't run it routinely, and exactly how to ask for it at your next visit. Stay with me until I name the most important markers on the panel. They're the ones almost no doctor checks. And together, they tell you more about your biological aging trajectory than any other numbers on your blood work. First, let's talk about what your annual checkup actually measures. When you go to your doctor for a routine yearly exam, the standard blood work typically includes a complete blood count, a basic metabolic panel, a lipid panel for cholesterol, and possibly a hemoglobin A1C for blood sugar. If you're a man over 50, your doctor likely adds a PSA test for prostate health. That's it. This standard panel is not bad. It catches some major issues. It identifies certain warning signs. But here's what it does not do. It does not measure your hormones. It does not measure your inflammation. It does not measure your nutrient status. It does not give you a real picture of your biological age. And it does not tell you whether you are aging gracefully or quietly accelerating toward disease. For that, you need a different panel entirely. Let me walk you through what should actually be on it. There are 7 categories of markers every man over 50 should know. Category 1, your testosterone panel. This is not just total testosterone. That's where most doctors stop. The complete picture requires 4 numbers: total testosterone, free testosterone, sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, and bioavailable testosterone, which can be calculated from the others. Why all 4? Because total testosterone can look normal while free testosterone is low. Free testosterone is the form your body actually uses. Many men in their 50s have normal total testosterone, but functionally low free testosterone. The full panel catches what the basic test misses. Category 2, your estradiol level. This is the hormone we covered in detail in the video on the estrogen takeover in men over 60. Most men have never had this measured, but for men over 50, the ratio between testosterone and estradiol is one of the most important hormonal numbers in your body. If your estradiol is too high relative to your testosterone, the symptoms you've been blaming on low testosterone may not actually be a testosterone problem. They may be an estrogen problem. You can't know without the number. Category 3, your DHEA-S level. This is the hormone I covered in detail in the first hormone video. DHEA-S declines steadily in men after 30. By 70, levels can be 80% lower than peak, and it correlates with energy, mood, stress tolerance, and overall vitality. Most doctors never check DHEA-S. They should. It's one of the simplest hormones to measure and one of the most informative. Category 4, your complete thyroid panel. This is the panel I covered in detail in the video on why you feel cold all the time. Not just TSH. The full panel includes TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies, particularly anti-TPO and anti-thyroglobulin. Many men with subclinical hypothyroidism have a normal TSH, but a low free T3. They feel hypothyroid, but their basic test says they're fine. The full panel catches it. Category 5, your inflammation marker. The most important single inflammation marker is high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, or hs-CRP. I covered this in the video on silent inflammation. hs-CRP measures chronic low-grade inflammation that is one of the strongest predictors of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and accelerated aging in older men. A value under 1.0 is generally considered ideal. Between 1.0 and 3.0 is moderate. Above 3.0 is high. Most men have never seen this number. They should know it. Category 6, your metabolic status. This means 3 numbers together: fasting glucose, fasting insulin, and hemoglobin A1C. Most doctors measure glucose and A1C. They almost never measure fasting insulin. But fasting insulin is one of the most sensitive early markers of insulin resistance, which precedes type 2 diabetes by years and sometimes decades. If your A1C looks fine but your fasting insulin is elevated, you are heading toward metabolic disease whether you know it or not. The full picture requires all three. Category 7, the most important one, the one almost no doctor checks: vitamin D and IGF-1. Vitamin D is technically a hormone, not a vitamin. It influences testosterone production, immune function, bone density, mood, brain function, and cardiovascular health. Research suggests approximately half of American men over 50 are deficient, and almost none have been tested. IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1, is the closest thing modern medicine has to a marker of growth hormone function. Growth hormone itself is difficult to measure because it pulses throughout the day. IGF-1 is stable. It reflects how much growth hormone your body is producing and using, and it has been linked in research to longevity, muscle preservation, and biological aging. Together, vitamin D and IGF-1 may tell you more about your aging trajectory than any other markers on this panel, and almost no man has ever had both checked. Here's why most doctors don't run this panel. 3 main reasons. First, time. The typical annual physical is 15 minutes. There's no time to discuss 7 categories of markers. Doctors run what's on the standard checklist and move on. Second, insurance. Some of these tests are not always covered by insurance unless you have specific symptoms. Doctors hesitate to order them because they don't want patients to face surprise bills. Third, training. Most general practitioners are trained to test in response to symptoms, not to optimize long-term health. The model of medicine is reactive, not proactive. A man with no acute complaints doesn't typically trigger a comprehensive workup. This is not a failure of your doctor. It is a feature of the system, and the answer is to advocate for yourself. Here's how to ask. 3 practical steps. Step 1. Bring a written list to your next visit. Print out the categories I just covered, or write them down. Hand the list to your doctor. Be specific. Doctors respond better to a written, specific request than to a vague, "I want my hormones checked." Step 2. Frame it as proactive health. Tell your doctor you want to establish a baseline of your hormonal health, that you've read about these markers, that you want to be informed and proactive rather than reactive. Most doctors will work with you if you communicate clearly. Step 3. Know your options if your doctor refuses. If your doctor won't order the panel and you can't change physicians, direct-to-consumer lab testing is available through services like LabCorp, Quest, and various online platforms. You pay out of pocket. You get the results yourself. Then you bring them to a physician for interpretation. This is not ideal, but it is an option for men who want the information and aren't getting cooperation through the standard system. Here's what I want you to take from this video. Most men go through their entire lives with no real picture of what's happening inside their bodies at a hormonal level. They feel something is off. They don't know what. They blame age. They blame stress. They guess. The comprehensive panel removes the guessing. When you know your testosterone, your estradiol, your DHEA-S, your full thyroid, your hs-CRP, your fasting insulin, your vitamin D, and your IGF-1, you have the foundation for understanding your own body. You can track these markers over time. You can see what's working. You can see what's not. You can make decisions based on data instead of speculation. The men who age well in this country are not the men who guess. They are the men who measure, who get the panel, who track their numbers, who become informed patients instead of passive ones. You don't need to be obsessive. You don't need to test every month. Once a year, sometimes twice, is more than enough. But you do need to know. If this video helped you, share it with another man over 50 who has been going through annual checkups for years without ever getting the real picture. Most men don't even know to ask. Sharing this with one person you care about could change how they understand their own body for the rest of their life. And please always consult a qualified physician about test interpretation and what your specific results mean for you. What we covered today is research-based education, not personalized medical advice. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through something most men experience but no one ever names. A specific period in the male aging process, usually somewhere between 55 and 65, when several hormones shift at once. When your body begins to feel like a different body. When the energy, drive, mood, and physical confidence you took for granted start to change in ways that confuse you. This is what some researchers now call the second puberty. And once you understand it, the changes happening in your body start to make a kind of sense they never did before. If you want to understand your body better as you age, subscribe. Because the most powerful thing a man over 50 can do is not push harder, it's understand deeper. I'll see you in the next